Hello, everyone. This is Two Cents Worth. I'm your host, Ryan DeFaber. This show, we talk about sports, fitness, and life. We talk about my life. We talk about my fitness journey. And we talk about my life in sports and my opinions on all those things. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
There you go. There's 2020. Just please, God, no. Oh, boy. What a year. Thank God it's over, huh? 2021. Common and hot. Still in the same situation as we were in 2020, but hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel, right? That's what you have to think about. That's what you have to look at. Oh boy, it started off like a crazy year too. Me and Lindsay were talking about it a couple of days ago. I'm like, but you look back at it, the year flew by, crazy stuff, right? Been home for so many months now, not going to work, not going back to the office. Don't see when that might happen. For her, I can go back. My office is open. I can go back if I want to, and I think I certainly am going to once school starts back up for Nolan and Harrison, and the days that Nolan goes to school, hopefully will be more than 2 days a week as we move through the rest of the year. We need to get these kids back in school. That's the most important thing right now. They're healthy, make it work, figure out how to do it, get these school systems and get your kids back into school. That's their mental health and social interaction is the most important thing right now at this age. Very developing time of their lives. They don't need to be at home every single day, all day, trying to learn in front of iPads and everything else. Hey, it is what the situation we were dealt, but figure out a way to get these kids back in school. If offices can open and adults can go into the office and work, kids can get to school and make it work as well. So, if by any means you're on a school board or a superintendent, listen to me. Get the kids to school. Who am I? Anyways, but we were talking about this year. How'd the year start? Kobe Bryant died. End of January, Kobe Bryant and 8 others, right? It was 9 total, I believe. 8 others, unfortunately, children were involved in the accident, passed away, died in a tragic helicopter accident. And I just remember sitting out on the driveway. We were playing basketball at the time. I was playing basketball at the time with the kids. And Lindsay comes out and says, Kobe Bryant died. And I was like, no way. And then all of a sudden, the news just started hitting. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gigi, and 7 others, including the pilot, passed away in a tragic helicopter accident and all that. And you're like, man, this is how the year's going to start? That is tough. And you had heard about the coronavirus. You've been watching the news. You'd heard about it from, that it was in Asia and it was in China and they were going into shutdown and all that stuff. And it was like, okay, now, hey, we've avoided some of these things in the past, and this year was just not the year that we could avoid it. The world couldn't avoid it for whatever reason. But that was how 2020 started. It was such a polarizing figure in the sports world, Kobe Bryant passing away very tragically too, and you see all of these other athletes and celebrities and just the city of Los Angeles rally around him and his life and his family, and really doing a good job of honoring him with the murals and the funeral, and then the Lakers, once NBA resumed, the Lakers were able to come back and win a championship. Was it him overlooking them and helping them push along? Yeah, they could certainly put fate in there and say, yeah, you could. It was fate for the Lakers to win the NBA Finals this year. So, yeah, that's how the year started in the sports world. Kobe Bryant passing away, and then we moved on from that, and you were. We were still living our lives and everything, and then there was cases here and there that were popping up, and then all of a sudden, I remember it because it was another sporting event. I was supposed to be at the Players this year. I was gonna fly down for work with some clients, and we were gonna be at the Players Championship, and it was that Friday. I was supposed to be there Friday, and that was that Friday that the PGA said. At first, because Thursday they had fans, and then it was that Friday they said, no, we're gonna proceed, but with no fans. And then it was, no, we're canceling the tournament. And I was like, I was supposed to be down there. That was gonna be a big deal. It always is every year for us at our company and certain people inside of our company and our client that we go to the Players, and it's gonna be there with our Jacksonville office team, and yeah, and then everything just kind of came to a halt, and our lives all came to a halt, and it was, go home, you'll come back in a couple weeks, and here we are, January, the year's over, and we've seen just a crazy year in general, just a crazy year, but you look back at it, and you don't have to, but you should look at some of the positives that came out of the year, and you can see and look at also the negatives that came out of the year, and you learn from those, and you can grow from those. And that's what I want to talk about as well is, everyone's, it's very easy to say, look at how great everything was, and the things that you got to do, and you get to spend more time with your kids, and spend time with your family that you weren't able to, and you create some type of better work-life balance because you're at home and you're there with your family or your roommates or your kids. But it's okay to look at all the bad too. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's certainly okay to look back and say, man, that sucked. That year sucked. I'm very vocal about it. I'm out there and I tell people all the time, my friends and family, I hated last year. And now I get to say last year because it was 2020 and it's 2021 now. I hated last year. Last year sucked. Sure, there was good things that came out of it. Absolutely. How much interruption to my life happened? There's certainly a decent amount that did happen. But overall, there was good aspects to the year, a lot of highlights, but then there's also a lot of bad. And I think what we saw this year was a lot of stuff in regards to what can you believe in the media? You have a lot of divisive characters in our own governments, in our own in media and business and everything that try and control a lot of the narrative. And what do you believe? And who do you trust? And I think we saw a lot of that news and journalism in some aspects is certainly not what we once thought it was or what we think it should be. And journalism's supposed to be a non-biased, just report on the facts type thing. And that, you kind of look at things and go, I don't see that much anymore. I don't care what network or, website you go to, you can see that there is bias in any aspect of it. It's just dependent on which side do you sit on and want to believe. But facts wise, it's not great. Social media, absolutely not, right? You can look at social media and be like, what do you really believe on here? Because nothing's being policed to a certain extent. I could put out there anything, and as long as I don't get fact checked, people sit there and go, wow, that might be believable. I think we've become so naive to everything that gets put out there that it has to be true. And when you actually do some research and look at it, there's a lot of it that's fucking bullshit. But anyways, that's some stuff that we've seen this year is, what do you really trust? And you see that a lot now. It's like, what's going on in regards to Corona and the year. There's a lot of division, where you have these people that are fully baked into it, going, nope, yep, everything that we're being told is true, can't go anywhere, don't look at anybody, wear the mask, do this, do that, wash your hands, stay away from everybody, don't interact with anyone, you're going to get sick, you're going to die. And then you have the others that are like, you look at it, and if we are looking at the science and the fact of it, it's 98 something, 98 point something survival rate of this thing. Yes, it spreads just like any other virus, but so it's such a divider. And then you throw the politics into it and everything else. What a fucking crazy year. And it got magnified so much because we were at home. We did put a lot of our lives on a pause, and you had no choice but to kind of figure out and listen to these media outlets or look at social media and try and get some information. It's hard to just shut it off, right? I tried for weeks at a time to shut it off, and I always say if it's important enough, you'll find out some way or another. But it's hard. We're in this 24-hour news cycle that it pops up everywhere and anywhere. Whether it's conversations you're having with, coworkers or family members, or you turn on the TV and you just want to watch sports or mindless television, but yet then, a commercial comes on or something interrupts it to say, what's going on here. And, it's hard to escape it, right? So, believe what you need to believe, but, there's so much division, especially in the United States. I don't know about where else in the world what it looks like, but the division in the United States was just magnified through the media. Now, when you go out in the world and you look at it and you go and you walk around your neighborhoods and where you live and everything, is it as divided? I don't know. I mean, where I live, it's not. In my city, I don't see as much of it. I know other cities you might, but is everything that we see on the television and hear and read true? That's what I'm getting at, right? I don't know. Go outside, live your life, find out for yourself, and if it is, and if you want to see change, what are you doing to make that change, right? So, for me and everything with what's going on in regards to race in this country, the biggest thing for me is raise my kids right. Don't let them see it, right? Don't let them watch the news. Don't let them be a part of that. But raise them right. Tell them. Doesn't matter if that person doesn't look like you. They're the same person as you, right? They're the same. What the hell's the matter? The difference in your color of your skin. That means nothing. Just how you were born, right? I could have been born differently. I could have been born in a different country. I could have been born to different parents, to a different ethnicity. What does that matter? You're all brought into the world for a reason. Color of skin shouldn't matter, right? And I think, thankfully the kids have that thought. At least mine do right now, is they don't look at people differently. Now they might ask, hey, why does that person have a different skin color? That's just because, that's what their ethnicity is and their background. Just like we're white, they might be from India. They might be from, they might be from African descent, or even, Latin descent, anything, right? So you're seeing that more of like a melting pot of what our kids, especially, where we live in Charlotte, you see a decent amount of that in regards to a melting pot of their friends and where people are from and whatnot, which was good. And it is good, because just teach your kids the right way to grow up. That's how they learn, right? They learn from you. So if you have a problem with someone's skin color, maybe look at yourself, right? And if you're sitting there going, man, why the hell do I think this way? Well, maybe it was the way that you were brought up, or maybe it's what you're watching and or reading, and maybe get a different perspective. That's certainly something that you can do. But for me, it's raising my kids right, letting them know that everyone, especially children, you guys are all the same, right? Tell my second-year-old, my kid who's in second grade, they're just like you, right? They're in second grade. You're in second grade. They live in this area just like you do. They're just like you. They play the same sports as you. They're just like you. Just have a different skin color. That's all. Or they might have a different religion. If they don't celebrate certain holidays like we celebrate that we're used to. Well, it's because they have a different religious affiliation, or they have different beliefs or they have different holidays, right? It's all that. It starts with you. You want to make a change, make the change. Make the change for yourself. Figure out what you can do for your community if you can. Help your children. All those things. That's where it starts. You can't sit there and hope that the government's going to change and that, these elected officials are going to sit there and go, yep, all of a sudden we're going to do this and race in this country is going to get better. No, it starts with the people. We outnumber them by a lot more. So why would they be the ones that make the best decision for us and what we need to do for our own community? You make the change. That's what you need to do. And that's something I think I've looked back at 2020, and that's something I certainly have really tried to focus on is, stop believing what these elected officials tell you, that our government tells you. Most of them are career politicians. Most of them have never had a job outside of politics. Most of them don't even really belong to the community that they supposedly, fight for. Go fight for yourself in your community. Go stand up for what you believe in your community. We outnumber them. We put them into office. We voted them into the office. We saw that this year with the election, right? Again, another divider, the election. But hey, we got to vote. And at the end of all of it, we'll figure out, what actually went on, whether there was issues with the voting or if there's not. And you know what? Either way, we still get to have our freedoms. Now, obviously, if there are any issues with the election and the voting, that certainly does infringe on our freedoms and democracy as well. And we want to make sure that we fix that. And I say we as the people. You do not let certain individuals take that away from you. That's why we live in this great country. And that's why we say this is such a great country, is because of the freedoms and the democracy that we have. And we can't allow that to happen. But if it didn't happen, fantastic. Democracy worked. Once again, it worked. Awesome. And the people that got put into office are the people that, won their elections. And, I'm not too egotistical to sit there and go, man, I hope they all fail because I didn't vote for them. I mean, that's pretty stupid. Me as an individual sit here and go, well, because I didn't vote for them and I don't believe what they believe, that I hope they do a bad job just to prove myself right. What a fucking asshole I would be, right? And there are a lot of people that think that way. But I think, you kind of have to just sit there and go, hopefully they do a good job and that America continues to be great and democracy wins and freedom wins. And that's what I want. How much is this election going to really change your life? That's what I think some people also need to look at. I think some people, again, magnify so much about what goes on in the government that they think that it really is going to change their lives. Like getting Donald Trump out of the office is going to be the greatest thing that's ever happened in this country. You're fucking crazy to think that way. Will things change? Sure, on the news, but what's really going to change your day to day? What's going to change in your life that he's not going to be in office anymore? And what happens if, by some crazy thing, if I don't see it happening, but if some crazy way he stays in office, what's really going to change other than you're upset about it? Move on and hope that he does a good job, right? I mean, that's just what you have to think, because at the same time, if he does stay in office, that means the other 50% of the country felt a different way. So who are you to say that your 50% is the correct way and the other 50% is the wrong way? And that's another thing that I've had to really sit and do some self-evaluation on is, when it comes to this year, I keep on saying this year, it's 2021. This year's going to be great. 2020 is, who are you? If 50%, we'll just talk about an election. If 50% of the country feel one way and 50% of the country feel a different way, why am I going to sit here and go, well, that 50% that I'm not a part of, they're stupid. They're totally stupid. They don't get it. What a bunch of idiots. I'm an idiot for thinking that. But what I can do is try and figure out some of their opinions. Now, I'm not going to agree with all of them, certainly, and they're not going to agree with mine. But I think, a way to do a better job for ourselves is, do a better job of educating yourself. Find out why they might believe that way. Is it their upbringing? Is it the way that they feel? Is it what they believe? some of those things really beneficial for us? And then in return, you hope that if you are having a conversation with somebody that believes something different, that they can also see and appreciate your opinions on those matters as well, instead of sitting there going, well, you're 100% wrong because you don't believe what I believe. And I think that's what we see so much, and we saw so much of it in 2020 because, again, our lives were put on pause and we're sitting there and everything's been so magnified in 2020 because of the power that we give to the media and the government and everything. It was wild to see. But then when you go and actually have conversations with people, it's like, oh, it's really not as crazy as what we're seeing on there. And then there are the crazies. There are the far lefts and the far rights and the people that are unwilling to educate themselves and listen and say, no, my opinion is the only opinion that actually matters and is correct. And, you hope at the end of the day that at some point in time they grow up, or you just don't have to interact with those people anymore, right? But what a crazy year. Starts with Kobe. Then you have sports put on hold. And for me, sports being put on hold, man, that got real boring. Real boring. I remember when sports were starting to come back, it was like horse racing on NBC Sports Network in Florida and like California with nobody in the stands. And I was watching that because I just needed to see something, because I had been at home for so long, for weeks now, and it was like there's nothing on television to watch. There's nothing to entertain you. There's only so much I can do around the house to fix things. There's only so much stuff I can do outside, especially depending on where you live in the country. Thankfully for us here in Charlotte, March time frame, that's spring. It's nice. It was really good weather. We had a really nice spring, and summer was good. But man, it was like, for a sports fan, I'm like, I want sports back. I want something to see and watch highlights or watch. And then when horse racing comes on, I'm like, I've never really watched it, but I'm gonna watch it and check it out because it's something to watch. There's some type of entertainment there. And then baseball finally came to agreement and came back, and the NBA came back and did their thing, and NHL came back and did their thing, and then, golf did the same thing. So then things kind of started working themselves back to normal, and now we have football, and the NBA is back, and college basketball is back. So, the sports are back, soccer's back. But the unfortunate thing is still, obviously, there's still a lot of places where there's no fans, and, we hope that the tunnel, the light is there. It's dim. I can see it, I think. It's not an illusion. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. You are seeing progress. I want to continue to see progress. I've talked about that before on other podcasts over the last couple weeks. You don't want to see regression. You want to see progress. And, that's what I'm looking forward to for 2021 is progress. Let's continue to move the ball forward and get ourselves back into living our lives in a manner that we might deem quote-unquote normal. Was it normal before the way we were living? I don't know. I mean, yes, because that's what we were used to. But what is the new normal? I hope the new normal is not wearing a mask all the time and my kid not going to school and, me sitting at home working every day and not being able to go to the office and still not being able to see my friends and not being able to go to a restaurant and putting my mask up and down in between every single bite and every drink, every sip. That's not normal. I don't care who you are. If you think that's normal, I'm gonna be honest and very blunt with you. That's fucking weird, and that's a fucking weird way to think that that's normal. But let's keep on working towards progression. Let's get back to doing the things that we became accustomed to and that we deem normal life. That's progression. That's what you want for 2021, and that's what you have to look at and say and be excited about. Hopefully, you can look back at 2020 and go and give it a big middle finger and go, you know what? You can go fuck yourself. We're moving on from you. You're in the past. Let's move towards the future. What a way to start the decade! But at the same time, fucking see you later, right? Sorry for the offensive language. Turn it off. If you haven't noticed, I curse a lot. That's just how I talk. And if you don't like it, you don't need to listen. And if you don't like me, I don't know why you're listening anyways. But we can look back at 2020 and go, man, there were some good parts of it. There was bad parts of it. And it's okay to sit there and go, yeah, it sucked. There was bad parts. That's totally normal, and I 100% agree, and I accept that, right? It sucked, and I'm okay with saying that. But Ryan, there was good parts. Yeah, there was good parts. You're absolutely right. But in how I feel about it is that it sucked. I didn't like it. I didn't like 2020. Again, there was good parts of it, and I'm going to celebrate those good parts. At the same time, I'm not going to just turn away from the bad parts and sit there and go, no, yeah, well, there was bad parts, but it's okay. There was really good parts. No, I'm okay with sitting here and going, there was bad parts. There was a lot of bad parts, and it sucked, and I didn't like it, and I don't want to do it again. And that's why I keep on talking about progression. I want things to move forward. I want us to continue to get to where we need to. And whatever you might believe for any of it, how can we continue to progress? You just have to keep on moving forward and not allow certain individuals or those dictate your life. Live your life. Continue to move forward, progress. That's what we want. We want progression. So 2020, you can suck it. You're gone. 2021, I pray you are not the identical twin to 2020, because if you are, you cruel bitch, I am not going to be happy once again. And you're not going to destroy lives like 2020 did. We're not going to do it. We're not going to allow it. If you're battling mental health, or you're battling, whatever it might be, some demons, just know that there's people out there that will help you. Certainly step up and get the help if you need it. No, you're not alone. There's a lot of people that are dealing with mental health issues, and I think that outweighs a lot of what's going on else. With the virus, the long-term effects of what's going on with this is going to be very severe. But no, don't let that stop. Right? Don't let that stop you. Get the help if you have mental health issues. Reach out to people. Let people know that you need to talk. People are always willing to listen. Think about this. They're listening to this podcast. I'm not forcing them to. I ask you to. But there's people that are always willing to listen. And that's my plea to those that are dealing with mental health. Seek help. Seek people that will listen. Take care of yourself. Know that things will get better. Continue to progress. Tomorrow's a new day. Always a new day. Right? I think that's a great thing that we learned from 2020. As shitty as things were, there was always tomorrow. And as we rang in the new year last night, we sat here and went, well, there's always going to be tomorrow, and there is, and here we are. It's tomorrow, and there's going to be a tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's going to be a tomorrow. But, I think that's a great lesson to learn from the good and the bad of 2020. Hey, there's always tomorrow, right? So look forward, progress. Hopefully things will be better this year. I think it's, like I said, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I think it's there. It's dim, but it's there. We just need to continue moving forward and doing it, and hope that, we continue to work towards quote unquote normal, and we'll get there. When that might be, it might not be until 2022, but hopefully 2021, you see progression through the whole year, and it doesn't look like 2020. And like I said, if it does, what a cruel bitch. What a way to deal with that. But I like the Michael Scott clip right there from The Office. It was when Toby returned to the office, and it just no, God, no. That's just how I look back at 2020. It was, God, no, what a year. Lives ruined, people losing their jobs, vacations being canceled, kids dealing with no school, learning how to actually learn virtually, divorce rates are up, whatever it might be. So much craziness to what we thought was a normal year. The riot here in the U.S., the riots, the race issues that we have, the election, these hypocritical politicians that tell us to do something, and then they go and do the complete opposite because they live this life of thinking that they're, they're the king or queen of the state or town that they run or city or whatever. You see all this bullshit, but what a fucking wild year. I'm glad it's over. I hated it. Again, I'm going to say I hated it. I hated last year. Last year sucked. 2020 sucked. 2021, hopefully you'll be better. If you're not, I'm coming for you, you cruel bitch. You better not be as bad as 2020. And again, let's be honest, there was a lot of good things. I'm not going to sit here and be negative the whole time, and I'm sure everyone that's listened to this for the last 29 minutes should think, oh man, he's just ranting and raving about how bad everything was. No, I'm just trying to be realistic to the fact that I think what you're seeing when you go on social media and what everyone's saying is, oh, be thankful for the year. This was my best year, and da-da-da. Again, it's okay to sit there and go, this wasn't my best year. This year did suck, but I'm moving forward. 2021 is going to be better. I'm going to make it better, and we're going to continue to progress. That's the mentality that I have towards this year. And what happened last year is it's in the past. I'm moving forward. Here's where we're at, and it's going to be a better year this year. And I believe that, and I'm going to make it a better year. And we just, again, we want to see progression. That's what we want. As anybody wants to see progression. And tomorrow, there will be a tomorrow. Okay? And that's another thing, a very important thing. Because this is, like I said, it's destroyed a lot of people's lives and families and, you know, beliefs and everything. This year was just wild. So, I wish you all the best of luck. I love you all. Thank you for listening. Like, share this, let people know that this is the type of podcast that I produce and put together. So, Happy New Year, 2021. You're coming in hot. Let's have a good year, 2021. Please don't be 2020 again. If you are, oh, God help you. God help you. Like Michael Scott said, God, no, no, no. All right, that's what I got for you. Have a great year, people. I'll be back next week. Later.